Do you know in the Bible, God speaks his love to us and he draws out our doubts. He hears our doubts and he names them, even when we are afraid to name them ourselves. He is big enough for our questions, ones that we don't even say out loud. He brings to the surface, just like he does here. So today, we might say, where is your love, God? When war rages on our doorstep in Ukraine and begins in Sudan. Where is your love? People on the street might say when they look at the church and say, when the majority church is covered in shame and scandal, when your church is maybe like our own church, well, they speak a lot about God, but I don't see them showing a lot of love, people might say. We might say, where is your love, God, when our health is failing, when our money is stretched, when our relationships are a struggle? Do you know what might seem at first glance? The story of our surroundings undermines any faith in a loving and living God. We can't see it. Yet this need not be the case. Those who found themselves in the horrors of the Holocaust, in prison camps during World War II, had every reason, you would think, to question the reality of a living and loving God. But in this book, The Faith and Doubt of Holocaust Survivors, Reeve Robert Brenner sets out research he did on over 700 survivors, and it shows a more complex picture, that even in the horror of suffering, yes, there were some people who gave up hope. They were broken by it. Afterwards they survived, but they had depression and despair in their lives. We might expect that. But some also held on to faith. Some who had faith actually had it strengthened, and afterwards their mental health outcomes were stronger and better. But surprisingly, there were some who discovered faith in these camps. It seems that even when the story of our surroundings is severe, there is a different way of seeing things. It's possible. So it is that God directs his people's attention to his own story with them in a striking and strange way, so that they can be sure of his love. And any time we doubt God's love, here is where we can always look. 1 John 4 verse 9. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son to the world that we might live through him. This is love. Not that we loved God, but he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins. When we doubt, here is where we see God's grace, his lengthy love for us. In its fullness, we look to the cross.